Okay, cool.
Thank you. Okay, well, today at approximately 3:03 p.m., we had an initial traffic stop. What I'm reporting out on today is an officer-involved shooting. Officer, a single-person unit, one-man unit, conducted a traffic stop of a SUV. The SUV doesn't have valid license plates, and at the traffic stop, the female driver refused to comply. She wouldn't show her driver's license or registration. She wouldn't get out of the vehicle. She did, from what I'm being told, make a call to 911. The vehicle, from what I'm being told, um, because of her not cooperating, that pepper spray was applied. She was able to get back in the vehicle. One of the officers was holding on to the vehicle, and she took off. So we have multiple touch points as far as the scene. So from there, fleeing and eluding, which is a felony, and went to the next location of Concord and Outer Drive, where the officers were able to block her in. So one officer or vehicle was behind her vehicle, another vehicle, scout car, was in front of her vehicle. At that point, more verbal orders were given, and I haven't seen the video yet, but of course the video will be available at some point, and I will be viewing it personally. But she still didn't comply and moved the vehicle in the direction of one of the scout cars and officers. At that point, officer, fearing for their life, the life of others, fired multiple shots, and she was struck. When she was struck, she was inside of the vehicle, and she sustained injuries to her arms, both arms, and leg. I'm happy to report that she's in stable condition. She will survive. But my message to the public, when you're driving a vehicle and you're pulled over, you have to comply. You have to, by state law, you have to provide your driver's license. You don't have the opportunity to say, I'm not going to provide my driver's license during a traffic stop. Some folks just don't know that, but it's important that the community understands that. And the last thing you want to do is actually flee, drive at a reckless speed, etc., because things like this lead to other things. So I'm open for questions at this point.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You said that the woman asked for another officer, and is there any understanding as to why when he initially stopped him?
Yeah, I haven't heard the recordings yet, but she wanted to speak to another officer, and so she did have the opportunity to speak to another officer as well. And so, but she still didn't comply. She didn't want to get out of the vehicle. She wouldn't comply with what the officers were demanding that she do by law. And what I didn't mention was, after she sustained the gunshot wounds, she continued on driving, and she drove to this location. So she drove from Concord and Outer Drive to this location right here onto the parking lot, and her vehicle is in back of this location. Our officers immediately went into lifesaver mode, got EMS here to be able to render aid to her, and so got her transported to the hospital.
Can you reiterate to the public, after she was shot, she got to this location, talk about the potential dangers that woman could have put other people in?
Absolutely. Driving, disobeying traffic laws, fleeing and eluding, it puts our overall community in harm. And one of the things that we're doing, and that I've asked my officers to do as well, is step up traffic enforcement, because we have far too many accidents, and that's one of the number one complaints from the community in the city of Detroit. Traffic, individuals blowing red lights, individuals driving at high rates of speed. And so we are stepping up traffic enforcement, and oftentimes we have people that don't think that they have to show their driver's license, their registrations. That's required if you're going to operate on a Michigan road, and it's also required that you don't flee and elude. That is a felony. So when you do that and make that choice, you just went from a civil infraction to a felony.
Any reason why she did this? I mean, did she have was she wanted? Does she have a history, criminal history?
I don't have all of her background. I know that she has an expired CPL, concealed pistol license. That's expired, but I'm not in her head, and so I don't want to speculate. But of course, we'll keep you all updated, and this is all fluid and preliminary. And I'm just happy to be able to report that she made a bad decision, but she's going to survive.
And so this is a DPD training facility, but it just is coincidentally that this is kind of where things ended.
Yeah, I mean, she drove right to our DPD training facility, so, you know, she's right here on our grounds.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Sorry to see that.